It sounds very similar to what's going on here, where it's all about kind of targeted demographics and putting people in a position because they're women or because they're black, not because they're competent in that necessary position. And this has real world consequences for many people in South Africa. The last 9 years have been anything but sterling for the average South African, and particularly bad for the poor. Are you very optimistic about South Africa and what kind of a future we have?
I'm very pessimistic about your country. I think you guys are in for an absolute catastrophe over the next 10 years. I hate to say that, but this last bit of legislation with regards to the farmers' lands, that's really, really, really not good.
What do you think of the stories you've read about South Africa in the news in the last little while? It seems that we've cracked the nod in some quite important foreign papers when it comes to this discussion about expropriation of property without compensation.
Well, I was absolutely heartbroken, I would say, when I read the news from South Africa this week. I think it's politically expedient to do what your government is doing. I think it appeals to the worst in everyone. I understand that South Africa has extremely serious social problems and that inequality in South Africa is very, very high. And it's not obvious at all what to do about that, and it's clear that it's suboptimal. But to demolish the rule of law as a precursor to solving that problem only means that it's going to get way, way, way worse before it gets better. I mean, isn't it reasonable to think of Zimbabwe as an example? Is that an unreasonable comparison?
Well, Venezuela. I mean, the same people who would implement stupid, proven policies of destruction in South Africa would probably want to use Venezuela as an example, even though it's a lamentable, demonstrable failure in every which way. It doesn't seem that there's any ability to learn the lessons of history among leaders who are hell-bent on enforcing their ideology on the populace.
Well, I think it's a catastrophe, and I can't see how South Africans can be sleeping easily in their beds these days. So